Legislative branch jigsaw activity. Group 6. Limitations on Congress's powers. Congress shall not. In what ways does the Constitution limit Congress's powers? The Constitution's list of express powers gives Congress the authority to pass laws governing many different areas of American life. The Elastic Clause has expanded Congress's authority even further. As a result, in the same day, representatives or senators might consider bills to revise the nation's tax code, establish a new national park, authorize spending for a new weapons system, and build new transportation networks. However, the Constitution also establishes important limits on Congress's power. Article 1, Section 9. Article 1, Section 9 of the Constitution is devoted to listing powers denied to Congress. Some of these limits, such as denying Congress the power to end the slave trade prior to the year 1808, are now outdated. Relevant clauses prohibited Congress from the following: permitting slavery, denying voting rights to citizens with the exception of felons, establishing a national religion, taxing goods exported from states, passing commerce laws that give one state an advantage over another, granting titles of nobility. The Bill of Rights. Other important limitations on Congress's powers appear in the Bill of Rights, or the first 10 amendments of the Constitution. The Bill of Rights was added to the Constitution to protect individual and states from the power of the federal government. Thus, these amendments specifically prohibit Congress from passing laws that interfere with Americans' religious freedoms and free speech, that infringe upon the right to keep and bear arms, and fail to recognize the rights of persons accused of committing crimes. In addition, the Bill of Rights limits Congress's power to exercise eminent domain or take away privately owned property for public use. The Fifth Amendment states that when using eminent domain, the federal government must provide property owners with fair compensation for the land. The 10th Amendment to the Constitution includes one of the most important Bill of Rights limitations of Congress. Recall that this amendment declares that powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution are reserved to the states or to the people. This reserve clause preserves the authority of state governments to address areas not included in Congress's express powers listed in Article 1, Section 8. This explains why states rather than Congress are responsible for setting policies for local school systems and providing local law enforcement. Checks and balances. Although Congress is the lawmaking branch of the federal government, the Constitution gives the executive and judicial branches legislative powers as well. These powers are evidence of the Constitution's commitment to checks and balances. They also place important limits on Congress's power. Article 1, Section 7 of the Constitution requires that all bills that pass both houses of Congress are presented to the President of the United States. Presidents may veto the bills to protect them from becoming law. The veto power is a particularly important limit on Congress's power during times in which the legislative and executive branches are controlled by rival political parties. The federal judicial branch also may check or limit the powers of Congress. The power of judicial review authorizes the courts to determine whether laws passed by Congress are constitutional. When the Supreme Court determines that a law violates the Constitution, the law is voided.